How we doing, everybody? We Dem Boys podcast episode 4. We're back at it. Guys have been busy. We got a lot of new adventures, a lot of new stories to tell. So, Johnny, you going to start us off? We got a nice view behind you, I see. Let us
That's right,
know
man. But
how things are going.
every time we film an episode, my mom is like, "Why are you not showing mountains in the background?" So there's lovely Flagstaff, something you can't
Bro, that
get
looks like Marblehead.
in Quincy, and yeah, dude, it does. It looks like the Mississippi.
That it looks like Marblehead. Nice. How's football going?
It's going, man. We just finished up fall camp. Technically, Friday was our last fall camp practice, and now we're into the regular season, game number 1 in 6 days. So it's going well. It's going well.
Did any of y'all watch the games yesterday?
Sure did. Sure did.
Oop.
Those were good.
FSU choked.
Yeah, that Florida State Georgia Tech, it was good. It got me excited just seeing College Game Day, Pat McAfee and the boys, and shoot, adding Nick Saban to that table's big. Listening to him, not from the coach standpoint, and just as an analyst, he offered a lot of really good insight. I enjoyed listening to that in the morning, kind of before the game started.
Yeah, that'll be a fresh new perspective on College Game Day, because Pat McAfee is fun. I like him. He's energetic and stuff, but at some point they actually have to talk about the game, football.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. No, I've been playing a lot of the college football video game as well as watching it. But one thing, I'm going to air this out, and I hope EA Sports gets this. The fact that Big John is not on the college football game is just ridiculous to me. We don't have the FCS teams on the game, but God forbid if you want to play with Louisiana Monroe, you can, but we can't have Northern Arizona.
You can just create them in Team Builder, Troy. It's not
there's somebody named Montana AA created the whole Big Sky. You should get on and use it.
Yeah.
You can make Big John 63 overall.
Because let's be honest here. If Big John gets on the line against the center, or not the center, one of the defensive tackles on Louisiana Monroe or Coastal Carolina, Northern Illinois, I'm taking Big John. That's not even biasness. You're
acting like Coastal Carolina is buns, Troy.
Coastal Carolina is good. I will miss
they're good.
FCS, now that the portal's a big thing, FCS football and Group of 5 is like yesterday Montana State just beat New Mexico. It's pretty.
I think EA Sports is just lazy and want to create a bunch of other teams.
I mean, yeah, they made the same Madden game for a decade straight. They didn't change anything but add a few names every year. So, yeah.
So you've been playing video games a lot?
Of course. I mean, we had a 3-hour, about 3.5 hour day this morning, and then I've been back and playing Fortnite and Red Dead Redemption 2 the whole day. So
no,
it's been my life.
It's always funny because with Tanner, with me, I just go home and then it's I'm going to hop on and play video games. With Tanner, it's a planned part of his daily itinerary. He has this time allotted to play Fortnite or whatever game, and nobody can mess with that. If you alter Tanner's video game time, then you're a bad person in his eyes. I've always found that kind of interesting.
I mean, dude, the new Fortnite season just came out. That was a week ago, and I'm already almost level 50. Been on the grind, dude.
I might get down and start worshiping you now, Tanner. Gosh, I didn't know we had a God in our presence.
Just everybody knows, Tanner's wife's Olivia is probably going to be watching this. She's not there yet, so I'm sure that might be some.
No, she'll be here in 2 weeks, so my video game time will go down tremendously when she comes. So
just enjoying it while you can a little bit.
Yeah.
Nice. Mac, you started a new adventure this week. Let's hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, we can talk about my lovely adventures of reffing high school soccer. It's not too bad. It's pretty good money. I don't mind it. It's a little slow at times, when you maybe do a JV game or so, but it is what it is.
Have you carded anybody yet?
No. Had a few people talking back to me. So we had these actual headsets between me and the other ref, and we did it was a JV versus C team type thing. We were reffing, and not gonna lie, it got a little long and boring, so we just kind of were shooting the shit the whole time on the Bluetooth.
So at some point, I don't know when, this is gonna backfire for Mac, because you guys know this dude used to be an asshole to referees. I bet all the referees back in the day hated reffing him. So now he gets.
Here's the thing, though, right? I love bickering with the refs, right? It was always a part of what I did. I didn't do it distastefully or terribly, like, disrespectfully. I usually was within reason. Sometimes, maybe not, but I always knew usually who I was talking to. I never was like cussing or anything, but I think I'll be a little more lenient because I was someone who liked to yell at refs. So
Dude, GLVC refs are just absolute garbage. Horrible. Some of the like you just opened up a whole new can because GLVC refs, like I have respect
what made
for
Tanner mad today? This is the
the
segment we're
GLVC
hopping
refs,
to.
dude.
For
Like
years. What made
early
Tanner
on,
mad for years.
early on in my college career, dude, they were so bad, and I slowly got the respect as obviously I was there for 5 years. But I got the respect like as the years went on. But early on, dude, I'm like, you guys are terrible. Like, how are you employed? Like, I don't think they could be officials at the park district. There's no way. There's absolutely no way, dude.
I
Like,
have
they're
a
so bad.
I have a new technique with referees. I've started like my second year of college football, like I'm actually playing, so 2022. So like I play center, so like they come up to you before the game because there's like the line judge. It's always spotting the ball and stuff. They just come up, shake hands, say what's your name, because like whenever something happens, they come to you and start talking to you. So I always like shake their hand, get their name and stuff. I always tell them I want the laces up on the ball because I snap it with like my thumb on the lace, and then I'm just like I just try to start like I brown nose the shit out of the guy basically. Like I'm like looking good, sir. You look like Ed Hockley. Like how you doing today? Where are you from? Try to get to know him, and then like I swear to God, they just let you get away with something. Or at least they'll be like, hey, 6'2", hey, a little easy on the hands there, this and that and stuff. It works like a charm. Works like a charm. Now, the minute they make a bad, I'll let them know it's stupid. But I try to brown nose the crap out of them now. I hated refs in high school, but now it's like, wait, if I can just befriend this dude, it might work out better.
No, the worst is like professional basketball, dude. It's so bad because especially when you go to other countries that don't speak English. And so like I'll go off and it makes it look even worse because I'm not speaking their language. So it looks like I'm just in fear. Like they're pretty much guessing that I'm cussing them out when I'm really not. I'm just asking questions. So like in Spain last year, this dude literally gave me like a warning in the first second, and then I kept talking and he just teed me up. Like, bro, I just got in the game. Like, what are you talking about?
No,
Like
that leads me to a good question for you, Tanner. When you like, if you wanted to trash talk, like some guy doesn't speak English, you just trash talk in English, and then they don't know what you're saying, and it's just kind of like
no,
you can
so
say
so
whatever
what
you
I
want.
do, I like learn like words, and like in Spanish, I learn like certain words, and
Talk trash to
so
me in Spanish.
Let's hear
real quick.
some.
Let's hear something.
no, they're all like bad. Like I can't say them on here.
I
Like
don't know if
I'm
we
pretty
have
sure
any.
all of our listeners are English speaking folks. So
I was gonna
no,
say
like
that.
I can't
Yeah.
even like I don't even remember though. Like I mean, obviously it's been what 4 months since I've been there, but like obviously here it'll be easier because they all speak English. But the thing is here is like they use like different like lingo or whatever you call it. But like they
Call them
call
a
things
wanker, and they'll be.
buy them a pint at the pub afterwards. They'll be happy. It'll be fine.
pint at the
well,
pub.
well, with me,
Tell them the Rangers are shit, and that'll get them pretty riled up.
Dude, they love like I've been talking to a few of those guys about it, and they're like, "Oh, you got to get to a game." And I was like,
Oh
"Well,
yeah,
I would love to
100%.
when it's not raining. I mean, that'd be nice."
no, the thing with like the foreign languages, it's been an adjustment for me too because our team down here we're super talented, but 8 of our 16 are international.
Troy, how can you be super talented when you haven't even played a game yet?
You can tell
Yeah,
that talent there. There's talent. There's talent.
All
let's
right.
just pat ourselves on the back over here,
But
pops.
8 of the 16 are international, so like it's kind of cool because some of them speak French, which I don't know a lick of French. So we have some that English is a little better than others. So we're practicing the other day, putting in some concepts with them, and it's not going very well. Just being honest, like we're trying to put in these concepts with them, then all of a sudden all this French starts being spoken between about 4 of them, and then next thing you know, we go and everybody understands what we're doing. Like it's all been figured out to a T. So that was a pretty cool experience for me because like at Quincy, we never really had guys that didn't speak English or that spoke a whole nother language. We had a couple, obviously, but
We had Joey Liam, Troy. What do you mean?
Just hit him with that buongiorno.
I didn't play.
Tanner was fluent in Spanish. What do you mean?
No,
Yeah, dude, 100%.
Dude, we got a freshman tackle from a prep school, but he's from Hamburg, Germany originally. I call him the Autobahn.
Yeah, I know. Ask
The
him if you watch
Autobahn.
BBL, man. You gotta ask if you watch BBL basketball.
Oh yeah, I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up to him.
No, but Tanner, I think you had a topic of conversation that you kind of wanted to bring up. That was a good idea. So I'm going to kind of segue that over to you.
Curious which topic he's gonna pick.
Here we go.
Me and Big John are on the same page.
There's a lot of topics that roll around in my head. I mean, I got a lot of downtime when I'm not in practice over here. I think mine's a little bit on the serious side. I like listen to David Goggins talk a lot, and like he made a statement, and like everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, he's just crazy," like whatever. But like he made a statement that it's easier to be more successful now than it was in years past because everybody's just like just lazy, like nobody works hard. So that was gonna be my topic, was like, do you think it's easier, or do you think you have a better chance of being more successful in life now versus like when our parents were our age and like trying to like figure out life and jump up the ladder, I guess, like the corporate world? Because like me personally, like I think it's easier. Like obviously everybody's gonna be like, well, the job market's not good and this and that, but at the end of the day, like nobody works hard, so like all you have to do is really be like a personal person. And like be able to have respect for people and be professional all the time, work hard, and then like you can climb up the ladder. But that's my
People
two
are
cents on it.
people are losing that ability though, because like I mean, you guys know, like Troy's an excellent example. Coaching or even Mac in the business world, like it's want to get a good job, it's probably more of a who you know game, not what you know game. And
Yeah.
like people are like I think after COVID happened, like people are losing. Like we get like new classes of freshmen that were like they went through COVID when they were like eighth grade, freshman in high school and stuff. They were just like, and out here on the West Coast, that stuff lasted forever, and like they were just in their house sheltered for like a whole year, and like some of them just like the social skills are definitely like a little behind. They're just awkward talking to people. Like it's just different. It's not the same. So people losing that ability, yeah. I mean, if you have social skills, you should have a huge head start.
I think that's definitely true because like with me coaching, like you have a lot that goes into it. Like you obviously got your time with the guys, like practices, workouts, and then even your time with them, monitoring academics, all that kind of stuff. Then there's the X's and O's element, scouting, all that's important. But honestly, I'd say about 50% of your time normally goes to networking, like in the coaching profession, because at the end of the day, like there's guys that have gotten really good jobs in coaching, same with pro, college, or whatever, and it's simply because they know the right people. Like, not saying those people don't know the game or don't know how to recruit or don't know X's and O's or how to do something offense or defensively. All that's still important, but at the end of the day, you can be a great basketball mind, a great football mind, or whatever. But if you don't know the right people, I mean, you're not going to go anywhere. So I was taught that pretty early, and that's why I try to spend a good majority of my day just text calls with people, just being a face. Like I think guys that have made it as head coaches, like they all kind of have that niche, like something that sold them to get that job, like a personality trait or a good recruiter, or they, have capabilities to get international players, or they're solid at recruiting in one specific area. But I feel like you got to have that niche because at the end of the day, I mean, if you're coaching college basketball, X's and O's. Like your defense, your offense, or you should anyway. You know how to develop players, but everybody kind of has that. So you either got to know that right person, or you got to have a niche. I guess is kind of what I've learned from my short time pursuing this as a profession.
But like that's my thing though, is like connecting with people takes work. And I feel like there's a lot of people now that just they don't want to do that. And I don't understand why. I don't know if it's just like a cultural thing. Like people are just naturally becoming lazy. Cause like if you look at like the working force now, like once again, obviously, like I'm not hopefully not close to working a 9 to 5 until I retire, but like the working force now is a lot of the older generation. Like we're the next wave of people coming in to take all those jobs. The job market right now is very difficult from what I'm hearing, but eventually it will open up because all these people will retire and all that stuff. And it's like, dude, like a lot of people our age are just dumb. Like they don't work hard, they don't think, like they don't use their brain. Like I just don't understand it. Like it drives me crazy because it's like sometimes we get a bad rap for it. And it's like not everybody in our age group is dumb, but like majority of them are, just because they just don't think and they don't try to expand their horizon, I guess. And so like that's why I think the possibility of moving up and being more successful is definitely easier in my opinion than when like Jeff Bodorf or Kurt Stuckman or John Potts or any of Matt, like any of those people, like I that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Like people are probably like, no, you're an idiot. You just play basketball for a living, but that's what I think.
No, I think the other thing that's like kind of really becomes a conversation too now is like how important like the college education is, because like I
Yeah.
know people that it like shoots Tanner, we got 2 degrees and like we're still finding our way doing what we want to do.
Yeah.
Max in the same boat. Like all of us are gonna have 2 degrees by the time we're all said and done, and it like
I mean, I'm pretty much in where I'm gonna be, so
yeah,
there
Matt.
ain't a
That's
whole lot with that.
But
yeah.
I mean, like I'm trying to make it as a college coach. Johnny, I know, wants to go into a coaching type thing. Tanner, obviously, still playing and still trying to figure out what he's wanting to pursue when the ball keeps rolling. But like we spend, if you think about it, like I think between the four of us, we have over like 20, 25 years of college experience, and we're still climbing the ladder. But then there's some people that do really important things to society, like shoot, I'll use being a lineman, for example. I would never want to be a lineman. I'd be terrible at it, but there's not a whole lot of schooling that goes into it. Some people know that's what they want to do and they start doing that and then they're set. So I think everybody kind of has their own little niche, if you will, but I definitely think like I wanted to go to college. I always intended to. Like that's just kind of was instilled in me, but I don't think it's like, oh, you got to go to college to be successful anymore, because I just think there's a lot of people that are really successful in this world that don't have college degrees. So I think that's another thing, especially with how expensive college has gotten. I mean,
Yeah, dude, it's ridiculous.
between us four, we obviously got a lot of aid in our college experience.
Well, another part of the whole college thing is like people graduate high school and they ship them off to college, and then like college is supposed to be like you pick your major and all this and that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a single clue what I wanted to do. I was a criminal justice major my freshman year. I wanted to be a cop because I watched Hawaii Five-0 for a little while, and I was like, this looks cool. Nobody knows what they're going to do. Everybody ends up switching their major anyways. The first 2 years of college is a high school review. It's
Well, that's the
glorified
thing.
BS.
I feel like now that, I mean, since we were kind of, going into the high school, the whole thing was, you need a degree to do anything. And it was like, even if you didn't know what you want to do, it's like, well, go to college and figure it out. You're going and spending 40, 50K a year to
Yeah.
figure out what that might be 4 to 6 years, depending on if you switch or anything. But
that's why, like, dude, if I didn't have a scholarship to go play football and like I was gonna pay for my college, dude, going to junior college for sure.
Yeah, and then go to a state school.
John Wood,
yes. And Bob Sheffield put it best too. All a degree is a piece of paper that gets your foot in the door. It's like, hey, I've done the work to be qualified to technically do this. Now you decide if you actually like me and this is going to work or not. Like, that's the best description of what a degree means, unless you're going to be like a doctor or a lawyer or something.
I think Tanner and I are the definition. We both have our MBAs, and I won't speak for you, Tanner, but there's not a lot from me in the master's program at Quincy University. Like it was good, but I don't use a lot of that stuff for my profession. I'm coaching college basketball. Tanner's trying to put a ball in the hoop. Like obviously managing finances, like all that stuff is important. But in Mac's case, he's probably using what he learned a little bit more than we are. So I just think like I would agree with that. Like at the end of the day, college is good. Like you get your education, you have your degree, but you got to make your own way after. Like you're just not going to be guaranteed the right job doing what you love in the right location, I think, just because you got a piece of paper.
No, I agree, but like at the same point, like with my master's degree, like honestly, that I literally tell my dad this all the time. Like I'm worried because like I don't remember any of the stuff that I even learned there, and like that's hard to
the
say.
thing is, though, it's like most jobs nowadays, all you learn in college rarely is going to apply to what you actually are going to do at a job. Whatever job you take on is pretty much going to be taught to you, and you're going to get good at that and kind of learn the trades of it. And then that's why experience today is almost more important than a degree, because you can learn the job. It don't really matter if you got a degree or not. If you can learn the job or you can't learn it, that's pretty much all it really entails.
Yeah, for sure.
Having a degree is just kind of like, hey, you went to school for 4 years and you completed what you needed to do. So it shows you at least have the ability to get some shit done.
I agree. I mean, I think I use my master's degree too, just to form connections and relationships. I think that if there's the majority of my professors there, I would assume that they would remember me since I'm a Quincy guy, and that I wasn't an idiot. Like I did all my homework, got all my stuff done, and that was a great guy. and form relationships with them that could help me in the future. Like that's the other thing too. If you go to college, especially as a college athlete, you got to take full advantage of even the academic side, like forming relationships, because you're not gonna like how many guys really go and play professional sports at any sport? Like it's like less than 1%, like way. So like you have to be able to form relationships and be able to, help yourself out, for the future. But no, dude, my first 2 years at college, dude, I wanted to be a pilot, and then I like
I
forgot that
remember
I'm like
that.
6'9". I'm like, dude, I'm not fitting in a plane. Like,
They'd have to special make a
I
plane
would
for you.
I would never get in an airplane that you were flying. I told
dude,
you.
what do you mean? Out of all of us on this Zoom call right now, I'm the best driver. So if I can drive,
All
then I
right.
can fly a plane.
All right. I'm not the best driver. I'll
We
happily.
we know that.
I'll admit
That's the elephant in the room, Troy.
Dude,
We're clear on that one.
when Troy drives, bro,
There's
I
no
promise
way.
you, he's gonna tear the transmission out of the car. Like,
No.
I'm
There's
so
no way.
shocked he hasn't done it yet.
Mac is definitely the best driver of. I've been
What?
all for you. You were the worst.
Hey, Tanner,
I'm going
remember-
Mac, Johnny, Tanner.
Hold up.
Really, I don't know
Okay,
if I deserve that
Tanner.
number 2 spot. I'm a pretty
That's crazy,
bad
dude.
driver.
Johnny's car is just messiest. Johnny's the messiest. I remember back in the day, me and Johnny after basketball practice, we would go to Qdoba, and I would have to get through like 80 things of Gatorade and 80 bottles of just to get a seat in the car. I mean, that was terrible. I honest to God, if my car ever got that messy, I would lose it. Like it was astonishing.
I fixed a lot of that by just having a metal water bottle for once in my life.
There we go. Because I'm telling you that it was unbelievable. You had to go through a whole obstacle course just to get a seat in the car. Then you're crunching on bottles. The worst would be it'd be snowing out. You got snow on your shoes. Then the bottles are getting all wet. They're sticking to your shoe. That was terrible. Like I honestly about had an intervention with Johnny. I'm like, hey, dude, we got to clean this car out. When it gets
Well,
nice.
I always for starters, if we were going to do something in high school, I always had to drive. Always had to drive. Always had to go.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Potts was never the
Troy was
driver,
not driving.
ever.
The only place Troy drove was to school, which was 100 yards away from his house.
No, he'd ask you to pick him up.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
No, I wouldn't have you pick me up if I had them when I had my car.
Hold up.
You
What
were the
was
only
his
person who would
bargaining
drive.
tool?
If he ever got grandma's PT Cruiser, though, it was game over.
Oh, dude. But his bargaining tool was the gift cards, dude, every time. Well, we'll go to McDonald's and I'll buy half of your food for you.
Yeah, that's a good deal. That's a fair deal.
That was a heck of a deal.
I remember a story that I had with Mac. We just got our license, and again, Mac's a fairly good driver. He'll speed you, like he's gonna get to where he's got to go. But like,
dude, I just don't understand how
anymore.
am I last, dude? I just don't understand that.
You just honk at pedestrians and yell out your window all the time.
That used to be.
That was the old.
Your focus is on about 40 other things when we're driving. I could go.
That was way back,
on
dude.
my Snapchat memories and find at least 10 videos of you honking or yelling at somebody on the street.
He had a whistle in his car one time.
Oh my gosh!
Like
if you were in Quincy, Illinois in 2015, and someone drove by and blew a referee whistle, it was Tanner Stuckman.
Oh,
big QU basketball sticker.
The worst is we go by the hospital and people are outside like enjoying their break, and Tanner just yells, "Get a job!" I'm like, shoot, they got the scrubs on. They're working right now.
Messed up. It's real messed up.
But no,
the Super Fortress,
my
man.
My story though with Mac was we just gotten our license. His first car, I forgot what it was, but it had zero heat whatsoever.
I drove my sister's car there for a bit.
And it'd be like cold. We'd be getting
Brutal.
done with practice or driving around. I didn't have my license yet, so he was the only way to get around. So we're driving. It's freezing outside, but he wanted Taco Bell, of course. So we drive the Taco Bell, -10 out, get our Taco Bell. We're literally about ready to turn on the street to get to his house, and we get pulled over for it was like a tail light or something. So
so what happened was,
go ahead.
So I was driving Zoe's car, and she drove this old ass Beamer, and I thought, like the old lights where you turn them to a certain, like there's the fog lights, like 3 different options. I didn't turn it all the way, so I didn't even have my headlights fully on. And that's what he pulled me over for.
That was it. But anyway, we're sitting there. This cop's taking his sweet time getting the license and registrations. Mac and I are sitting there waiting for the verdict here, and we are freezing. just sitting in this car. We probably sat there for 30 minutes until this cop, because there was something wrong with the registration or something. And oh, it was terrible. That might have been one of the worst experiences of my entire life, easily.
All right, Tanner, I
Dude.
got a story for you. Do you
Oh,
remember when you were driving me and Potts and we were behind the mall and you were on the complete opposite side of the road? You were driving, and then me and Potts said something. You're like, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even realize I was on the wrong
dude,
side of the road.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, I'm not the best driver, I'll firmly admit it. But if I needed to get somewhere, I'm getting in with Mac first, Johnny second, and I'm probably considering driving myself before getting in with Tanner.
dude, I just like this. This is a good story. So my dad does not know this, and this is hilarious. So when I was driving the Super Fortress, another high school relationship story. So I had broken up with my high school girlfriend, and I felt bad, felt terrible. So I, as a nice guy that I am, I tried to go get her back, and so I used to pick up people and have them run up flowers to the front of the house. And so I remember it was Thomas Gunston, dude. I had him, I bought the flowers, I picked him up, drove to her house, made him get out of the car to go run these flowers up. And it's like 5 below 0, and it's like 10 o'clock at night or something. So like I was gonna surprise her, all this stuff. He gets back in the car and the car dies, like in front of the house, dude. And I'm like, oh, this is not good, because like she's not home, she's on her way home. This is bad news. So I had to call like TJ Wensing to get his dad to come over and jump the car. And like my dad's texting me like, "Where are you at? Like you're supposed to be home." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm stuck in traffic." Like no, the
In
avalanche.
Quincy.
Yeah, the avalanche just died. Like the battery just died, and so I got TJ Wensing's dad is there jumping and he just has the audacity to ask me, "So what are you doing out here?" I said, "Oh, I'm just out here just seeing a friend, like no biggie." So yeah, I got back before curfew. Kurt was, didn't ask any questions, but dude, that avalanche used to die all the time. Like
You
the
used to
thing
make
would
me
die
do
all the
that
time.
stupid drop flowers or something on too. Like, I don't even know why I put up with half of this stuff. I was just young and naive. But Tanner used to make me do like the most obscure things ever. Like, and
It's
that's why
because he knew you would do it. That's why.
I knew you
He
would. You were the
didn't.
only
It
person that
didn't
would
take
do it.
much convincing. It was like, "Hey, Troy, do this,"
or like it
and then
was
you
the
do it.
worst. The worst thing with Tanner. Every year we had this tradition: freaking Christmas shopping. He always had to get
Oh,
my
dude.
dad and whatever girlfriend at the time a gift. And we would go, and we went to Dick's one time. And I swear that, and Tanner did not have money at this time. He was not a pro basketball player. He bought all three of them 2 pairs of shoes each because he could not pick which shoe to get. He bought 6 pairs of shoes for like $400 at Dick's Sporting Goods for the girlfriend we just talked about in this story and mom and dad. At that point in time, John was probably getting some peanut M&Ms. Kelly was maybe getting a $10 Cowboys gift from the Kmart at the time because it was open, and no girlfriend at that time. So yeah, Tanner was dropping $400 simply because he couldn't decide.
Dude,
But
no, that's how I had to keep him around, because dude, I was a horrible, horrible like boyfriend, like awful, dude. You can even ask Olivia now, my wife, like I was awful early on, dude. Like I didn't care. I was never around because I was always in the gym or playing video games. I
so
was always
time out.
oh
So
boy.
if Olivia comes on here, you said that used to be. So you're a
Oh,
good
I'm great now. Yeah, come on now. I'm husband of the year now.
sure. I'm
Dude,
not
I'm
having
husband
Olivia
of the
come
year.
on here and give her thoughts on this.
Oh, dude, like early on in the relationship, like I'm telling you, early on was not a good dude. Not a good dude, man. So that's how I kept him around. I got him nice gifts, so they hung with me until Christmas time. And
Yeah. No, Tanner, you've definitely. I'm glad you're committed and locked in right now. Funny story here. Tanner will hate me for telling this one live, but
oh boy,
so Tanner's 2 years older than Mac and I, and Mac and Johnny will know this too. But his freshman year at QU, Mac and I were juniors playing basketball. This dude would come to our games at QND, and he would have a different girl with him every single game. We would sit there. It was me and shout out to Sam Tooley, the bench mob on that team. We were sitting at the end of the bench, and about 3 minutes before tip national anthem, Tanner was walking in, and it was going to be a different girl every single time. It was so obvious that my grandma, who's sitting in the freaking wheelchair up at the top of the pit, would see it and tell me after the game, Tanner had another girl. This time it was a brunette. This time it was a blonde. It was unbelievable. It was every single game. This dude brought somebody different to our games.
That's bad. That's when Tinder was huge. So that was my way of saying, hey, for a date night, we can just go to the QND basketball game. And I would say, I'm so big time there, I can get in for free, not telling them that my dad worked there and had the keys.
Just get in for free. And I know you didn't buy her popcorn or anything either.
No.
No, but then after the game, I'd come out and Tanner would be like, oh, this is here. And then I'd be texting him that week, oh, how's this one going? He's like, yeah, she's annoying or she's too clingy. It was all or nothing. And then next Friday rolls along and here's another one. And then it got weird. One was from like Culver Stockton one time. Like, like Tanner is such a well-spoken, mature adult now, married, doing his thing. But that freshman year in college, he was unrecognizable at times.
Well, dude, the problem is like after these games, they'd ask, well, you want to go out to eat? I'm like, no, I'm just going to take you home. That was the date. The QND basketball game.
Then you'd make Johnny and I come hang out with you at the dorms when Johnny was
Dude, I remember being in your dorm when I was like 15, 16.
It wasn't his dorm though. He commuted. That's the thing. He just took us over to two random.
Bro, I was so wide-eyed. Justin also went to college when I was in high school, and I could tell you some good stories of like I used to kind of be his DD when he was at John Wood and QU. Man.
Oh gosh,
I went to some amazing places in Quincy when I was like 16 and 17. It was awesome.
Dude, I felt so bad for your brother that off season after his freshman year, after his redshirt year, dude. Because obviously, like the part of the off season is you try to get rid of guys that like you don't want. All right, so like I remember we ran so much. And your brother was just slowly dying inside, dude. He's like, this is awful.
No,
sounds about right.
Johnny got the privilege of my freshman year at QU, his senior year, to be the DD for keg races.
I did?
I never went to keg races, not one time.
Well, for me, it kind of stunk because I got some bad luck on it because I decided to graduate in 3 years, not to brag or anything. But freshman year, I got to go. Sophomore year was COVID. And junior year was the aftermath of COVID. Then I became a coach, so that was no longer permitted. So I didn't really get the full QU keg races experience.
I didn't go one time. I was in David Goggins' mindset. Just get me the biggest scholarship and the most buckets. So I was not a big on the keg races.
I think that was when I think Olivia came into the picture around keg races. So I think that's why you started to grow up a little bit. Then we weren't at the bringing a new girl to the pit mindset when
Tanner was just carrying the boats and the logs and the new girls to the pit.
With the gaslighting of, I'm big time, man. I can use my dad's keys to get inside for free.
Yeah. Speaking of the pit, since we brought it up, we were gonna kind of end with this. So this coming Friday is the big QHS QND football game. So back home, obviously, that's a big time rivalry, even though we're alum, Quincy High normally wins at everything. But at the end of the day, it's still a fun little rivalry. I think Matt got him at soccer a couple times, but basketball, football never really had it. But
0-8. I'm 0-8 against the Devils, man.
It's fun to look back on those. I was thinking about it the other day. I remember just the memories of it. I think the one that stood out to me, even though I was on JV at the time, Tanner's senior year, so I know you and Mac were on varsity. That was the first year they brought it back, so we played that game at the pit. And I remember Tanner put down that dunk that, at that time, you thought he was like Kareem. Now it's
thought I was the best player in the gym, man. Had a whole 6 points.
Sissy dunk, but just the vibe of having that game back and both schools, because let's be honest here. I know us four, we have good friends at Quincy High. I'm at a point with my job where I'm recruiting kids from Quincy High some, so we obviously have relationships with people that we went there that we stay in touch with. Obviously there's people that went there that we didn't like. But there's kids I went to high school with I didn't like, so it was a little bit of everything, but I think it was cool to have it back. And I feel like now the kids they just grow up with it. 'Cause they just know now, like, oh, they play in football week 1, they play in basketball right before Christmas, which is still cool. But we were a part of like when it just was coming back for basketball and football.
Man, it was sweet. My freshman year was the first year they did the football game. We had that in the fall, and it was like WGEM was like live streaming. It was like college game day. And I remember getting off the bus and like you see like Ben Martha, they got the whole studio thing set up. The place was packed. We got beat, but it was still just, it was like playing a college game. It was cool. It was a lot of fun.
Dude, I remember it stinks, QND alum. The only time QND's beat him in basketball, recent memory, was during COVID. Tanner and I snuck a ticket in.
Snuck in and saw the game. That was
Tanner and I
crazy.
are sitting there with our masks on, and QND won. Like Quincy High, could you imagine if any of our QND teams would have beat Quincy High with like how talented they were back then, how big of a deal it would have been,
dude.
But if they beat them when there's no one in the stands and no one's
well, didn't Big John get dunked on in one of the games?
I forgot about that. I didn't bring that up. Yeah, I did, and it was my senior year. We were playing at Blue Devil Gym, which first of all, QND alum, Raider for life. The Blue Devil is awesome. Seeing that as an opposing like team member, like as a starter too, and you're standing up, that thing comes by you. That was like sick. And then that game, like middle second quarter, somebody shoots a 3 for QHS, and I go up for a rebound, and I don't really know what happens, but something just comes over top of me, and then I hear the crowd erupt, and I'm just like under the basket, like, uh-oh. There's a video. You can find it on Twitter somewhere. I got like 1,000 likes.
The problem with basketball, not as much football.
Wait, before I'm done, I just want to, for the record, it didn't count. All right, over the back call.
Over back. That's not. But no, the thing with the basketball game with it that was always cool to me was like, or not cool, it stunk actually, was Quincy High always had a stretch in the third quarter where they just iced the game away. Like in Mac and I senior year case, our good friend, we still play rec league with him, Aaron Shute, like he came into that third quarter and he had no thought in his head that they were losing that game. And he just,
dude, I mean, he was the big reason why we lost. Like he came, like that was insane. I think that was like the big part of like his high school career where he like took off, in my opinion.
He's probably one of the most poised. He's probably one of the most poised players I've ever like played with and or against. Like he's just.
Oh, I agree, dude.
Never
he was
know
so smooth.
if there's a high pressure game. Like he always was the same. He's still that way when we play rec league, and it's ridiculous.
Quincy High's got some good talent now. Obviously, I mean they got 2 guys committed Division I right now. They've had some good ones over the years, but I mean it's tough. At least in our lifetimes, I know there's been some that have gone on and have done well. And Aaron was a guy, good friend of mine, played a year at John Wood, just didn't really want to pursue it in college as much. But I'm still taking him from a Blue Devil standpoint over a lot of those.
Oh, dude, like I'm telling you, he's the most smooth player like I've seen. Like just smooth. Like everything he does is just smooth.
We need to get him.
Like, it was crazy.
He'd be a good guest. He'd offer some.
The year after he graduated, my senior year, we played him. That was who was the Talton? Jeremiah Talton.
Jeremiah.
That was his freshman year, and their freaking 1-2-2 zone was always. I got to give Andy Douglas the credit. They were just really good at that, and it just was the worst. But then defensively, we were going to play man against them, and for whatever reason, I got matched up with him. He drilled like 6 threes. I was so scared to go out there because I'm like, I don't want him to blow by me or anything. Yeah, it didn't go well. Their first possession, he just drilled one in my face. I was like,
dude, do you think? Okay, this might be a hot take. Do you think he could be one of the best like all-time shooters in like the history of like Quincy basketball?
I think he's up. He has one of the 3-point records.
But like I'm saying,
Quincy
screw
basketball?
The records. Yeah,
give me Drew Eaton. Give me Drew Eaton any day of the week.
Yeah, okay, that's
Drew
my
Eaton
guy
could
too.
Slice it.
He could. Yeah, he could.
That dude could shoot it.
He could shoot it. I always give him crap because I think we would have won state if him and like Joey Pollock and all those guys would have played my senior year. Like we would have had a loaded team, loaded roster.
Yeah.
But no, I think Jeremiah is definitely, in my opinion, one of the best shooters like in the history of Quint. Like in my opinion, I mean, dude can shoot the crap out of it.
Well, no, I think with back to the rivalry, like what is kind of interesting now is like football used to like be kind of QND kind of had the football advantage at times. Like Quincy High has never been that known history wise for football. But now, like from what I understand, they got real players over there. Like they got a chance to win state in football and basketball right now. So, and I think like, some people complain like why QND plays them, different classes, all that. At the end of the day, it's a regular season game. Like, yeah, football, you got to win. How many games you got to win, Johnny, to make the
I
playoffs?
think it's 5,
Five,
right?
five gives you a chance. 6 is automatic.
Yeah, so it's still like a game. Like, it stinks to lose it. Basketball, let's be honest, in the grand scheme of things, a loss to Quincy High really isn't hurting you in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, but it's more of like a community thing, like especially for football, like Jack and Rickler, like they both are for the community, like creating a community, event and all that stuff. So I think it's super important to have that keep that alive, because
Yeah.
I know like the biggest concern is like it's slowly like it's losing its like coolness, I guess. Like
Not many people go to it. Like the last time I went
Yeah.
to the QND QHS basketball game might have been 2022. And like like the gym wasn't even fully packed. I'm like, dude, like this was like the pit was like jumping when we had it, and like the football game was always insane. My senior year, the football game, I think they knew they were going to win by 1,000. So like that.
This might be a hot take too. I think the football might be a little bit more popular than the basketball. Just my kind of 2 cents on it.
The 2017 football game was the best like QND QHS game. I don't know about the history of the 70s. That game was heartbreaking, but awesome.
I'll be honest with that game. I thought we were going to get destroyed, just being honest.
That team wasn't even that Quincy High team was nothing compared to the year before. 2016 was like Devin Smith, Zach Ashman, Jairell.
Yeah, they were
finally
good,
come
dude.
onto the scene, bro.
They were good.
They were cold.
I remember I was planning to go to that game for maybe a quarter, and then I was going to go like Buffalo Wild Wings, watch the rest of it on TV, something like that. It was kind of chilly that day, but I remember that.
You're a fake friend, man. What the heck?
That ended up being probably one of the best high school football games, maybe football games in general, because that was crazy. Because we were down, and then next thing you know, we had the lead with 10 seconds to go. We about won the thing.
One of the best parts of that game. So my mom always took pictures. She'd be like in one of the end zone, always taking pictures and stuff. She did for basketball game stuff too. Let me think about this. We scored to take the lead or to tie it up at the end of the game. And then old Cannell and Obert were like, screw it, we're going for 2. We're going for the win. Oh, we were down 1 at this point. So we go for 2, and we're in the Wildcat, and we have like Jackson Cannell just run a sweep to the left. I remember I played right tackle, and I switched with the left tackle. I was like, I'm playing left tackle for this play. Screw you, buddy. We're running to the left. We're doing it. And we scored on it, and like the place just erupts. So my mom was down at the end zone, and I just went up and hugged her because it was like, dude, that was like the craziest high school moment ever. And then we lost, but
still
it was awesome.
Game, that's one.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that game. That was awesome because
that was a fun one.
Quincy High's fans were stunned because I was talking to a lot of my boys at Quincy High. They were going to go with me, and I was with Reese Dreyer. They were going to go with us to beat ups to watch the rest of it.
Yeah.
They texted, man, y'all are giving us a game. We're staying. So we were on the other side. They were over there.
That game too, I've never seen a player dominate a single-handed football game like Jairell. He had like a 96-yard pick 6 in that game. He had like 4 rushing touchdowns. Dude, it was just unbelievable. That
Rock Island clip of him like smoking that kid, like that's the craziest. In my opinion, that's the craziest high school clip I've ever seen. Like insane.
From Rock Island, I feel bad for him because he probably he hears about.
He's all over social media.
Yeah, probably hears about that. Even
it was like a weekly thing that year. He was like there was just some sort of highlight he had. It was nuts.
Well, perfect. Well, I think that concludes this episode. Got a lot of good stuff in. It was good to see you guys again.
Potts, I don't even think you gave me a single word at the QND QHS rivalry in there, my guy.
Go ahead.
Goddamn.
What we got? You got to be more assertive. You got to jump in a little bit.
Potts, you like hearing yourself talk. What do you mean assertive?
Okay,
if no one's talking, you be talking.
Well, Macker should have a time to talk here because he's the only one that's actually beat him in a sport. So
yeah, exactly.
Hey, freshman basketball. Give me some credit there.
I beat him in JV basketball when I think my freshman year we beat him in JV.
Freshman basketball.
Like when it's like the junior varsity when they actually have your like backup varsity playing.
Yeah.
But I don't think I ever went to any of the football games because I want to say most of the time we had soccer games going on.
You guys were probably like in the playoffs for soccer at that rate. Usually it was the last game of the year.
Like when I started my freshman and sophomore year, like it's even throughout college, it was the craziest games we'd played in. Like I remember Cole Hayes scoring, we playing away at QHS, and Cole Hayes scored a goal. And I remember I was just screaming at the top of my lungs, and I couldn't hear myself scream because it was just so loud there. But Soccer was a lot different because we always played them. I don't think there was ever a time where we stopped playing them. But now I know the rivalry. I feel like it's all kind of watered down now with all the sports at this point.
Basketball, you have so many games. I don't know why they stopped doing that for however long of a time, but
Well, Quincy High was beating them pretty good most of the time. Like, even though we never beat them in basketball, it was a game. Like, we just weren't getting annihilated. There would have been times
I think that
before we got to high school, there would have been
you know who the last team was that beat QHS
somebody hit
my
like a
Uncle
game
Ryan.
winner.
No, it was my Uncle Ryan in 2008.
I'm not talking about that, but let's just be honest here, Tanner. Like, if your freshman year team and your sophomore year team played against Quincy High, you guys would have gotten beat by 50. Let's just call it what it is.
No, we're winning by at least 2.
No shot. There, I don't even remember who was on Quincy High.
Listen, the boys are coming through. We're motivated. You know, we're taking some 5-hour energy, whatever it is, and we're getting after it. Win by 2.
Y'all were losing to, no offense to the small schools, but y'all were losing to like Pittsfield and Liberty on those teams. You are not beating Quincy High. Let's just
listen. I was a developing Tanner Stuckman in the farm system at JV, so that wasn't me.
Right, but even before you is what I'm saying. That's why after your Uncle Ryan's team, then let's be honest, QND had a very bad drop off, and then there was no way they were playing those.
Okay, but we're forgetting like Alex Fitch and that group, dude.
That
they
team
would have.
McGaffey,
they were tough, dude.
It was the big 6'8" guy. Not Evan McGaffey.
Matt McPherson.
Matt McPherson. You had some size in the middle there. You had a good squad.
I guess I was the Blue Devil at the time, so that's my Blue Devil biasness going on there.
Yeah, Potts, you like to pick and choose which one you want to be depending on the situation. So we can't claim you at QND.
Only guy I know that's a Lakers fan, a Thunder fan, and a Warriors fan all at the same time. It's unbelievable.
Like Lakers or the Warriors. We're gonna wrap this up. We can get into that.
He's also ironically a Kevin Durant fan. So
it's the same guy that when we get Annie and pretzels, he couldn't hit the stop sign either. Yeah, I didn't forget that, Troy.
All right, this has been episode 4. Dem Boys. See, we got some more good content coming y'all's way soon. We'll see ya.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.